Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here, and we've got just one of the most eye-raising examples of how you might want to be healthy, you might want to depend on your immune system, and you might want to listen closely to what happened to this doctor. And the way he approaches it in this news piece is so over the top, is so Orwellian, is so disturbing to me, when the evidence of what actually took place should be horrifying to people, in my opinion. And he's just smiling away and saying, remain vigilant. And what am I talking about? Well, the gentleman behind me is a doctor that has been working on the front lines with COVID from basically the inception of this thing. Months and months and months, did not contract COVID, did take the first round of the vaccine, and you guessed it, came up positive. Now, I'm going to dedicate this episode to the healthcare workers' adverse reactions and mandates for this thing, despite all the evidence that healthcare workers actually are protesting it en masse. Reports of up to 60%. It may be higher than that, right? We now have evidence that it doesn't protect you, okay, from this. And remember, the efficacy rate on this thing, it had nothing to do. Let me say this again. The efficacy rate that on this thing had nothing to do. And I can't believe this, but it's not going to come up there, is it? But it had nothing to do with infection. And in this clip here, just to let everybody know, where is it? Let's see. There we go, right there. In this clip right here, we're going to play this and show you that he basically says this is the only way out. This is Dr. Vin Gupta as he takes it live on television. This is a different clip than what we're going to show you first. But we've shown you this one. And he says in 2 to 4 weeks, we'll know whether it stops infection. Well, it appears it doesn't. And could it possibly make you more prone to infection? I mean, this doctor worked with these patients from the outset and did not get it. You know, and the fact that, you know, we're acting like immune systems don't exist or they're bad things or we shouldn't depend on them is absolutely just tremendously, overwhelmingly idiotic and childlike. How about that? Guys, we're fully demonetized on this channel, probably for the material I'm going to show you from authoritative sources. Everything we're going to show you, just like always, is from mainstream, right? So you can go look this stuff up. I mean, the headlines are right there. You can post it separately. You can post this video, and you can let people know this is what's really happening. Does this make sense to you? You know, when I'm on the couch at night trying to go to sleep, and I've got like drone television on, like CNBC or History Channel, and I'm watching now these copper fit mask ads, 2 for $19.99, and I'm watching like an old man in a golf cart wearing a mask in the middle of the day by himself. That's actually in the ad. I'm like, what dystopic reality am I? It felt like a bad sketch on like the Ben Stiller show from the 90s. Like a real bad one. Like Andy Dick and all. $5, $10, $15. Big donors. You mean the world to me. Again, I'm headed to D.C. It looks like tonight, as long as it doesn't start icing or snowing. I think 9, 10 p.m. My time. I'm going to start taking off down there and hopefully get there, you know, by the night of the 4th and figure out what my plan is. But a lot going on, obviously, there. So I really need your support more than ever. By the way, Happy New Year, everybody. Thumbs the video up, subscribe, and share. Join the Burmis Brigade. If you're new to this channel, if you're new to this information, we got a lot of it. And we like to back it up. So you go, you check out the source material yourself. You decide. Loose Change, Final Cut, Fabled Enemies, Invisible Empire, A New World Order, Define and Shade the Motion Picture. All my films, all free, right here, right now in the playlist section. Rockfin. Now, next week, obviously, I will not be able to do my 11 a.m. Monday through Friday. But you make a free account, and that's what I do. I'm going to leave, I think, this week's up as totally free. So this week's archive is still going to be free. If you do go premium, thank you so much. Right now, the Ray token is at an all-time high. Again, crypto is exploding right now. And again, without Rockfin, I wouldn't be able to do this because we're demonetized. It's because of Rockfin and the GoFundMe combined that, you know, I'm able to do these things and have like a little bit of semblance I guess, peace of mind in case something does happen. So let's do it. This is the first clip we want to play. Stay very vigilant. It's all about vigilance and heroes. But you see this guy's demeanor as he talks about it. He wasn't worried when he tested positive. You know, oh, blah, 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 blah. It's just, it's insane. So Dr. Warren's COVID vaccine is not a cure after contracting virus post-inoculation. Okay, so here we go.
Courtesy of a physician who was recently vaccinated.
Yeah, despite getting the first of 2 shots, that doctor still contracted the virus. Action News' Gray Hall live now at the Satellite Center with what that doctor wants all of us to know, Gray.
Hey, Brian and Shari, as a frontline worker, this doctor, of course, one of the first ones to receive the vaccine. Outside of some side effects, he said he was okay. That is until he contracted COVID-19. His message is that the vaccine is not a cure.
So stop there. Outside of some side effects, not one side effect, not a little pain in the arm, which they're trying to sell you on. That's Gates and Fauci saying that, right? You know, when we talked about the Moderna and 80%, right? He was like, oh, most of that's just a pain in the arm. And then Fauci's patting his arm after. It's just a little pain in the arm. Side effects after side effects. But we'll continue.
About 9-10 days after getting the first dose of vaccine, I started to feel sick again. You know, fever, chills, headache, sore throat, cough, some shortness of breath.
Dr. Torogi says despite getting the first of a 2-dose vaccine, he was now a COVID-19 patient.
So, again, this is a guy that has the side effects. He's a doctor. He's been around these patients a ton, okay? He gets it. He has side effects. And then 9-10 days later, he starts feeling sick again. He just told you all the symptoms, and now he's tested positive.
I've been treating COVID patients for about a year, and I didn't get sick. And now, right after getting the vaccine, it's a little, ironic and unusual.
It's a little ironic and unusual, and he's smiling about this. No, it's horrifying because they're trying to mandate this, okay? Fauci has now said in a Newsweek article, we're going to show you that in a moment, that he feels that hospitals and hospitals and schools will mandate this. And he talks about not a federal mandate, but all these institutional mandates. Listen, this is I mean, look at this guy, and he's smiling about it. I'm going to bring it back because this is like Orwell on steroids, the way they portray this. Bring it right back to him.
Getting the first dose of vaccine, I started to feel sick again. You know, fever, chills, headache, sore throat, cough, some shortness of breath.
Dr. Torogi says despite getting the first of a 2-dose vaccine, he was now a COVID-19 patient.
I've been treating COVID patients for about a year, and I didn't get sick. And now, right after getting the vaccine, it's a little, ironic and unusual. So I had myself tested, and unfortunately, it came back positive.
Dr. Torogi, who also operates this YouTube page called Chatterdocs, where he discusses medical issues like COVID, calls his experience an unfortunate coincidence.
An unfortunate coincidence. Do you understand where we're at, people? An unfortunate coincidence. We're going to go back to this in a second, okay? But we have to remember, this one you didn't see, okay? You didn't see this one. This is more than 2 weeks ago, and I want to reiterate this. That guy, he's tested positive. He had side effects. This healthcare worker immediately needed medical attention, then needed medical attention again, and then was hospitalized.
Healthcare workers from coast to coast are getting the Pfizer vaccine. The first severe allergic reaction has been reported in the U.S. It happened to a healthcare worker in Alaska. The woman had no history of reactions, and it's not known if she has any other types of allergies. After getting the vaccine, the woman had shortness of breath and a rash within minutes.
Within minutes. She was then given epinephrine, guys, okay? Like she's going to tell you, within minutes. And then she needed another shot, and then she needed to stay in the hospital.
Was given a dose of epinephrine and responded immediately, but later needed another dose of it. She is being monitored at a hospital during.
So there you go. Okay. Now, again, Fauci, it will be mandatory in institutions like hospitals and schools. This is insanity. Okay, again, you just saw a doctor who worked with patients for over, and then it's all lightheartedness. It's hilarious. Now, I wanna show this again for the how many time, because here we're talking about that woman. She supposedly had no adverse reactions or allergies to anything prior to that. Now, this guy's going to ask a question about people who are scared, and these doctors are taking it live on the air, and they're going to admit again that they have not tested this to stop infection. And the doctor just got infected. Okay, so now in 2 to 4 weeks, because he's going to say in 2 to 4 weeks we're going to know a lot more, and they go wonderful. Well, now it's 2+ weeks later, and guess what? We do know more. You can get infected after taking the vaccination. And I'm going to show you how they're even hyping it further, that if you don't take the second one, that it'll somehow mutate and make everything worse. You'll be the bad guy. That's what's being put out there. So let's play this because it's over the top as well.
Since word of a vaccine started, for folks who are watching or listening who might be scared or skeptical, what's your message to them as you get ready to get your vaccine as well?
Craig, I'm really glad you asked that.
He's so glad you asked that. Oh, because safe and effective is the terminology they continue to work. Safe and effective. Hey, everything's safe and effective. Effective for what? Effective for what? That doctor just got infected, and he worked with patients closely for over a year, not getting infected. He relied on his immune system. Why don't I get a choice to rely on my immune system today throughout the country without a mask in any business I want after 10 p.m.? Can you please explain that to me? This is madness.
The first message is similar to what I said up front, which is to say that we know this vaccine is safe and effective. We know that it's particularly safe in preventing severe pneumonia from COVID-19, meaning you're not going to see docs like Dr. Fakeley and I in an ICU if you get the vaccine. So that's first and foremost. I think we need to be really...
Again, that doctor, forget about being in a hospital with severe pneumonia. That doctor, like I don't know about you guys, if you're just TV doctors or if you actually work with people, that doctor worked with people. Forget about being in a hospital bed with pneumonia. He wasn't infected until he took the vaccine. This guy is going to tell you not only safe and effective, only way out. Who is this guy? Vin Gupta gets to tell me with Dr. Fauci in a Faucian manner that this is the only way out? Cuckoo.
We need to keep that top of mind, that this is going to save people's lives, this vaccine. We also know it's safe, that there's, at worst, mild side effects, injection site soreness potentially, maybe a low-grade temperature, a headache, but those go away within 24 hours, so that's pretty clear as well.
So that's pretty clear as well. That's not true. Again, you know what? We're gonna just come over to here and show you where that's not true. All right. This is doctors say CDC should warn people. Oh, come on, man. There we go. Should warn people the side effects from COVID vaccine shots won't be a walk in the park. And again, this is Sandra Freihofer, American Medical Association. They say all basically the symptoms that this guy was talking about, that he got, the doctor previously, right? Muscle pains, chills, and headaches, etc. All that right there. But some had that lag for days. They feel drained for a day and unable to focus. She said she woke up the next day feeling better after taking Excedrin, but added that Moderna may need to tell people to take a day off after a second dose. Again, if you don't take the second dose now, they're telling you what? That it could mutate. Is this it right here? Yes. So apparently skipping the second, now you're a virus spreader. Despite on the vaccinations, it says that you shed the virus for days afterwards. It's on the label of the vaccine that you shed the virus. I mean, what's going on here? Am I? Again, I'm not that smart. Maybe you can explain it to me why this is going to be the only way out, Vin Gupta.
And lastly, I will say is for those who might have severe allergic reactions, I know there's been a lot of questions about that. Severe allergic reactions, should you get the vaccine? What's clear is that if you have that profile, talk to your clinical provider, talk to them about what types of allergic reactions you've had in the past, and you're likely still going to be just fine if you get the vaccine in a monitored setting. So it's going to be real.
likely going to be just fine if you get the vaccine in a monitored setting. Let me explain to what he just did there. He endorsed the vaccine on a mass level as long as you talk to your physician about it first. If you do have severe allergic reactions, or perhaps you do have an autoimmune disorder. And now again, he's going to tell you this is the only way out. Meanwhile, Johnny Immune over there, the doctor, working with patients over a year, gets the side effects and then gets sick 9-10 days later, tests positive. But this is the only way out. Totally makes sense.
Really important for all of us to understand that this vaccine, Craig, is the only way out of this pandemic. It's broadly safe. We're learning more, as Dr. Fagley just mentioned, we're learning more about how long immunity lasts. How long are we protected after this 2-dose regimen? And that's number one. And then
how long are we protected? Because again, everybody's talking about how effective this thing is. In infection, apparently it's not effective at all. You know, and this is what blows my mind. We've been playing this clip. This guy now is infected. So now the 2 to 4 weeks is pretty much over. We're seeing it. But go ahead. Keep spouting your nonsense, Gupta.
And number two, we're going to learn, does this vaccine protect against severe pneumonia? Does it also, we already know that, does it also protect against transmission? That's the key question here. Does this vaccine protect against transmission? Because a vaccine can protect against severe illness leading to the ICU, but it can also potentially still allow for infection where people are unwittingly transmitting the virus.
Yeah.
We're going to have clarity on that question, guys, in the next 2 to 4 weeks, and I think that's going to be really important for the American people.
Wonderful.
Wow.
Wow.
Great.
Wonderful.
Dr. Gupta, Dr. Fagley.
Whoa, oh, geez, they're just the best, huh? Wow. So I hope that everybody understands, okay, Mr. Gupta, that we do have clarity on that now. It's extremely clear what's happening. Doctor warns COVID vaccine is not a cure after contracting virus post-inoculation. You know, we're going to go back to this thing because it's very unfortunate and it's just a coincidence. Let's keep playing it. Because again, this guy's promoting it still.
Action News reached out to the Pennsylvania Department of Health about the effectiveness of the vaccine. And it says one of the most important things for Pennsylvanians to remember regarding the COVID-19 vaccine is that it is not a cure for the virus. It is simply another tool in our tool belt, and we must continue mitigating efforts like hand washing, social distancing, and wearing a mask.
Because this is forever. The vaccine, they don't want you not social distance. You see what this is? You know, this is still a preparation for you to be locked down and be a slave.
People should definitely not lose hope or trust in this vaccine. You know, in the world of medicine, nothing is 0-1, nothing is 100%.
Yeah, just like there's no way to get rid of this virus. Like once a virus is introduced into the population, it's there, man. It's there. You know, that's why we played that Harvard professor talking about this.
0%. Everything is kind of living in the limbo.
Medical experts say keep in mind that the first vaccine shot gives you 50% immunity, which doesn't kick in for a week with the Pfizer vaccine and 2 weeks with the Moderna.
What does 50% immunity mean? I've never seen anything about 50% immunity. Like, is that a new buzz term? From my understanding, again, they're trying to get these antibodies created. That's it. That's the rap, folks. Produce and either it happens after 1 shot and then 2 shots more, or it doesn't happen after both. That's why it's a 90 or they say 95% efficacy rate. That means 5-10% even after 2 shots did not develop the antibodies.
Moderna vaccine. That second dose then brings immunity to at least 90%.
Again, immunity to what? No one. Obviously, it doesn't. like, what are we watching here? You're watching a doctor who took it 50%. Well, it's only because he didn't take both. What? And remember the walk in the park clip? Yeah, Fauci now saying he's sure coronavirus vaccinations will be mandatory in institutions like hospitals and schools. All right? 60% of U.S. healthcare workers, they're refusing it already. Remember they were trying to sell you in the beginning that like 20 or 30%. In fact, we'll play how there'll be some Americans that don't want it from the New York State Bar Association over the summer, okay, that suggested what? That it be mandated for the country anyway. And that's where we're going with this. Okay? More allergic reactions triggered by COVID vaccine than scientists expected. Really? Is that, I see, again, that sounds like spin to me. I don't buy that. When you had so many warnings that we've been showing you, like, again, from the American Medical Association, from the Moderna trials, their own paperwork. Like, this is just, again, PR. It's PR. That's all it is. Okay? And meanwhile, you got some guys like this Odessa mayor, that's bringing in Dr. Bartlett. Props to him. And Bartlett's treating it with something else. And, we can't talk about those things. And we can't talk about studies with vitamins. And by the way, the fourth vitamin, a lot of people were on me about this. They say the vitamins that they talk about here in this Fox 26 news piece, vitamin D, vitamin C, zinc, and quercetin. Okay? So everybody should check that out. Meanwhile, this is in legislation. I'm glad a lot of people are getting into this. It's A416. It's a subdivision, I believe, of A99. But make no mistake about it. This thing is about detention centers for anybody they want. And I mean that. Because they say cases, contacts, and carriers. So you just have to know somebody or be around somebody that might be a case. Or they think you're a carrier, okay? That might be a danger to the public health. And here's the thing. If they declare a state of health emergency due to an epidemic of any communicable disease, doesn't have to even be COVID, it's on. And they talk about the detention of them. They talk about radiation in this. All right? I mean, it's here. A person or group removed or detained by the order of the governor or his or her delegee. In other words, they could just deputize people. They're putting this on paper. This is an assembly right now. This is a reality. Meanwhile, they're like, oh, you know what? We're probably going to have to mandate the vaccine. It's not ponder, they're preparing. We're probably going to have to mandate this vaccine. Again, they've been preparing from the beginning. Fauci himself, Mr. We'll never shake hands again. He's now, roll it up, Fauci, woo! Now it's 90%. Be infected or vaccinated. What about both? We got the doctor in the beginning. He's been vaccinated once and infected. Hey, do it again. Why not? Just roll it up for whatever. This is all in your face right now. And, I'm going to play this clip here, okay, and we're going to skip ahead, where the New York State Assembly puts it in writing that they want mandatory vaccinations. And by the way, props to Kara Castronova. I thought that's where we had this. It must have. But listen, this isn't about right or left. This is about Republican or Democrat. All right. Oh, by the way, that's my Action for Assange crew. And they're doing great things too, but that's a different video. This is about getting together. And this is in New York. And this is a MAGA group and a Black Lives Matter group together against the mandatory vaccination. You can see this in my retweets. We're going to play this. This is all of us, man. We need to become the great resistance. Get beyond that Johnny nonsense if you're playing team baseball on conservative or liberal or any of that stuff. Okay?
Hey, hey, ho, ho. Rosenthal has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Rosenthal has got to go.
So again, people can come together. And we need to come together, especially on this issue. So let's do this.
Hundreds of people rallying in Albany Saturday morning, sending messages to Governor Cuomo.
Let's get it right here.
Late May, the health law section of the New York State Bar Association in this 89-page report recommended a mandatory COVID-19 vaccine for all residents, unless a doctor exempts.
Let's just stop it there and let's read it. When a vaccine becomes available, there will be a majority. See, it's in a majority of Americans who want the vaccination. I just showed you 60% of health workers that are already saying no. It's always, they're trying to say that you're in the minority for thinking for yourself, for looking at evidence like this. However, some Americans may push back on the COVID-19 vaccination for religious, philosophical, or personal reasons. Notice that they don't put scientific reasons or evidentiary reasons in there at all. See, you're not even allowed to question the lords of the New York State Bar Association, with Andrew Capo Cuomo just seething with power. Nonetheless, for the sake of public health, mandatory vaccinations for COVID-19 should, not could, should be required in the United States as soon as it is available. Out of the gates. Out of the gates. They're saying for the whole country they put this on paper. Mandatory vaccinations are supported by the authority of the state police power. Police power. Meanwhile, crime is running rampant in New York City. 70% of shootings unsolved right now in New York City. It is crazy there, and they're destabilizing it on purpose to give it to billionaires through state police power. That's real. See, they don't want the cops to actually do their jobs, making it unlivable for people. But then when you deputize, right, you just saw their detention center thing, right? They say delegees. When you deputize these brown shirts that they're contact tracers because the state troopers don't want to do it or the NYPD doesn't want to do it, right? They're going to be the state police power, okay? When the vaccinations are necessary to protect the health of the community, constitutional challenges under the religious freedom clause under the First Amendment and under the substance due process clause of the 14th Amendment have failed when the individual interests are not strong enough to outweigh the public benefit. You think about that. You think about what that means. And they put that on paper in the summertime. That's the reality, man. Like, that's what they're pushing. Meanwhile, again, the flu is gone. 98% reduction from the WHO. We're not even going to play it, but she says it's gone. Sylvia Brand. Anybody can check that out. In week 51, apparently there are 27 cases of influenza A and B combined in the United States. This is cdc.gov. Okay? This is all in your face. But the vaccine is the only answer. Okay? And if you skip that second dose, mutations. And with all this stuff, again, Fauci is saying that you're going to social distance. Okay? You're gonna, you know what, let's just play it. Let's play the Fauci just saying it.
You know, I would recommend that that's not the case. I would recommend you have an added area of protection. Obviously, with a 90+% effective vaccine, you could feel much more confident. But I would recommend to people to not abandon all public health measures just because you've been vaccinated. Because even though for the general population, it might be 90 to 95% effective, you don't necessarily know for you how effective it is. So when I get vaccinated, which I hope to when it becomes my turn to get vaccinated, I'm not going to abandon completely public health measures. I could feel more relaxed and essentially not having the stringency of it that we have right now.
I can feel more relaxed. This is madness. Madness. But again, in April, he was telling you, maybe we shouldn't shake hands ever again. Maybe we shouldn't be human beings ever again. This is about gutting the middle class. Like I said in the beginning of this was a slow rollout. 9/11 meets 1929, and we're seeing it now big time. You're seeing more and more people not paying the rent. You're seeing that it's not going to be sustainable. You're seeing businesses go under. You're seeing crime run rampant. You're seeing the introduction of the idea of a UBI. You know who they're trying to make mayor now? It looks like in New York City. It could be who? Andrew Yang, Mr. UBI himself, Mr. Universal Basic Income himself. And you know, not to get too far off topic, because we started it off with a doctor who took the vaccine, had side effects, then tested positive 9-10 days later, right? We have it now. It does not stop infection, right? Okay, am I allowed to say that? Am I allowed to say that? I mean, they never said it stopped infection, as you can see. I played the Gupta clip. But we live in such a weird time. I don't know what's reality and what I'm allowed to say is reality anymore anyway. So guys, thumbs this video up on the way out. Not even 200 thumbs, 600 plus watching. We're fully demonetized here. Almost what? I think 9-10 months now. It's I think March of last year it happened. So we're trucking along, and we're trying to do it. $5, $10, $15 big donors. Need you now more than ever. Hitting the road tonight as long as it doesn't start hailing or something or snowing. Towards D.C. Hopefully be there by the evening of the 4th. We'll see. And maybe I'll definitely be there by the 5th. Oh, thumbs the video up, subscribe, and share. Join the Burmis Brigade if you haven't already. And remember that all the documentary films, they're free right here, right now, in this playlist section. You just come on down to documentaries, and you can check out Loose Change Final Cut, Fabled Enemies, Invisible Empire, and New World Order Defined, and Shade the Motion Picture. Ring that bell. Rockfin, Rockfin, Rockfin. We're usually doing it Monday through Friday exclusively on Rockfin at 11 a.m., and that's where some of the spicier videos are. You can get a free account. You can watch all the freebies, especially the live ones. Obviously, I'll be on the road. I can't really do it with my phone, so I apologize. And then on top of that, if you do have the premium membership, again, this is a platform that's going to explode. I really do believe that. I think I got in on the ground floor of something great, and I want to thank all the guys there. So if you're a premium member on Rockfin, whether you're subscribed to me or somebody else there and just watching my content premium style, thank you very much. You're also helping so much. And guys, just like I showed you that, MAGA Black Lives Matter thing, we're all in this together, baby. Ain't left or right. It's right and wrong. And you better believe it. I'll see you guys on the flip side.